So a little bit of a quick history about myself. I'm a first-generation migrant to this beautiful country of Australia. So being a first-generation migrant, my parents always pushed me to go to school and get educated because they came from a poor Eastern European country and was brought up in a farming community. So having finished university, the next step was you've been told to go out and get a job, which proved to be so difficult at the time because I had to start off on such a low salary and because I had no experience after 4 years. But being brought up with a handyman father who was a blue-collar worker and a welder, I learned how to do construction during all my lifetime because we renovated all our houses all by ourselves and we had to learn how to do it. So I was lucky enough to have the practical skills to get into construction, which I did straight after university. I finished with an electrical engineering degree and had to beg for a job, whereas I had friends that finished as electricians and were already had lined up with work, had already been paid for 4 years to do a trade, and I had a HECS debt of thousands of dollars of 4 years and was begging to get a job. A friend of mine sent me this clip and said, hey, have a look at this and tell me if this was something that you had to go through. So I'm going to have a quick look to see if it's true.
Thousands of white-collar workers are gathered hoping to get the attention of just one handyman. Excuse me, you're a handyman, right? Can I get you to come look at my oven door? I can trade geology skills. Could you come fix my door and I'll give you some geology?
You're making the Home Depot look all cheaty.
When I could have been learning how to fix stuff, I went to fucking college. All went to college. And where did it get us? Think stupid geology that anyone can know because of goddamn AI. It's in our time. College. Piece of shit, college.
You think you could just sit there and not even respond to us, college?
That's the catapult.
Well, but it's still in the box. How are we gonna break the college if the catapult is still in the box? It's okay, we called the handyman.
So 20 years ago, this story was true because everyone was begging for a job back in the day in the professional services and the tradespeople were making a lot of money. Fast forward now to 2024, this is where we're at again because a lot of professionals are losing their jobs and a whole bunch of tradespeople are actually required to do the basic job. This is not just limited to America because this obviously is an American show. This isn't limited to just America. This is happening all over the globe, in Europe, America, and Australia. Why? Because we've always put a bad rap on blue-collar jobs. Now there's a massive shortage of qualified people to do the jobs that we actually need to get done, which is building, construction. There was an article written in a newspaper lately saying that the Generation Zs are so lazy at this point that current tradespeople are finding it very hard to deal with them and to get them a job because they're not as motivated. Is this true? Well, from personal experience, part of it actually is because we've had a whole generation of easy to go, beautiful times. And then the first generation migrants have come from such hard-working countries where they know what hard times are. And it's such a short labor pool that the next generation are going to have a lot more choices to work on. So are they going to be willing to do the hard work? Probably not, because they've got options. Whereas when we came, there wasn't many options and we were only allowed we had to fix it ourselves. We had a fix-it mentality. It always reminds me of a story with my dad because he had his first Kingswood, right? And he said to me, son, it's a hammer, a screwdriver, and some duct tape. If these three things can't fix it, then the car's broken. But he always gave it a crack. He'd always figure out how to fix the car when it broke down. If it was changing a hose, changing a radiator, some spark plugs, I'd always sit there with him with a light and say, hey, how does that work? And then I figured out how to do it myself, which also led me to probably my engineering degree because I figured out, hey, I like to fix things and I like to pull apart things and how do things work. So have we had a generation where it's just now you take your car to the mechanics and the mechanics fixes it? Or do you give it a crack yourself? This is like one of the full cycles that has happened now around the world, obviously. So what does it mean? Well, I'll tell you right now that in the next 5-10 years, we're going to be continuing on with a trade shortage. We're going to be continuing on with not enough people to be working in construction. And we're going to continue on having less and less housing being available unless we do something about it. See how we go.